My name is Rebecca, and thank you for joining my channel. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. And if you're just watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I've uploaded my next video, and give us a thumbs up. I'm going to do a little bit of everything on this channel, and we're going to show events that we have at the Medical Engineer Show. I'm going to do crafting. I'm going to do some recipes, real quick, easy recipes, because I'm going to tell you, I don't do anything hard and complicated, and ain't nobody got time for that. And a lot of mine, I'm going to have to, reduce down for, 5 to 10 people, maybe 20, because I'm used to preparing things for 75 to 100 people. So, when I cook something, a cheese ball, I will give you the recipe for a cheese ball. Anyway, we are just having so much fun. And today, though, it's a crafting video. And I am going to show you what I'm going to make a snowman. I'm going to make a snowman out of dryer vent. And it's so fun and it's so cute. And I love January crafting. I know a lot of people are just, boom, jumping right on into Valentine's crafts. And yes, I love Valentine's crafts, and I'm going to do some of that myself. But I like snowman, and I like January crafts too. So I'm going to take a couple of weeks and hit the Christmas pause button and let everything calm down a little bit and enjoy the new year. And then I'm going to enjoy some January crafts before I jump into all the good things of February. So anyway, today is all about January and snowman, and I make the cutest snowman with the dryer vent, and it's kind of awesome. I did it last year with some dryer vent, but it was a little temporary, so I kind of tried to figure out how I could do it this year and make it more of a permanent wall hanging and something that I might be able to use more than just one time. So come craft with me. So I purchased 2 number 10 craft foam discs, and I got them at Walmart. Floorcraft makes them, and I also purchased a number 6 disc as well. And at Walmart, I also purchased my dryer vent. I know it's not dryer vent. I've always called it dryer vent. Deflecto brand makes it. It's 4 inches in diameter. It's super flex dryer duct, and it comes in a box. It's 8 foot, and I know what I'm talking about. Nobody else probably knows what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, one box of the 8-foot duct made all 3 pieces of my snowman body. So I cut, once I got it measured out, and it would fold over and meet. I cut it with the scissors, and then I took wire cutters and cut the metal piece inside the wire, and it cut really easily with wire snips. Anyway, and then I took a very liberal amount of hot glue. I had to hold it. I had to hold it for a very long period of time so it would get a good hold, because it wanted to spring out on me. But I held it, and then I had to kind of put some hot glue here and there in a couple of places and make sure it had a really good hold. But eventually it took, and it was nice and secure, and it held really nicely. I bought my plush coral fleece at Walmart. It was in a pre-cut roll. It was 1.5 yards, and I love the plush coral. It is so soft and fluffy and fuzzy and furry, and it just looks like a snowman. And so I picked that up, and I am not a crafter that measures. I eyeball everything. If you're a crafter that measures, more power to you. It's just not in my wheelhouse. It's just not in my little brain. So I laid it out, and I kind of pushed it in the center with some hot glue, and then I flipped it over, and I pulled it out so that I knew that I had enough to fold over um, my dryer duct. And then I just cut around the edges so that I could fold it up. And so I can't tell you, I cannot tell you how much um, I went out because I did not measure. I just eyeballed it, and I had made this before, like I said, um, and I had used the fiber fleece towels at the Dollar Tree, and they were just short of like wrapping all the way around the metal, the dryer vent duct. I'm probably just gonna mess up and say dryer vent every now and then. And so with the fleece, I had enough to cover the whole thing, and with enough to spare. So I went with the fleece this time. And so I just kind of tucked and wrapped and tucked and wrapped and pushed down into the center, and made it just as secure as I could, and with the hot glue. And what I had left over, then I would just kind of glue, and then I would cut so that I wanted it flat, as flat as I possibly could get it. And then, because I didn't want it bulky on the back, because I'm going to glue my foam disc to that. So I did want it to be um, not tight, but tight enough to where it wouldn't have any um, gaps. And I will tell you, I you can skip this step and just buy 3 number 6 discs. Um, when I looked at it, I thought I might need a number 10. And then when I actually got into the project, I figured out that a number 6 would work just as well, and I was cutting them down to the size of a number 6. So you could skip this step completely and just buy 3 number 6s. But I had 2 number 10s. So I had to cut the 2 number 10s down. And I just used a serrated knife. And my maintenance man subscribes to my channel. And now he is going to figure out why I am always saying I need my knife sharpened. Because evidently I just wreck my knives, and they get really dull. And then I say, hey, I need my knife sharpened. And now he knows exactly why. So I just told on myself. um, but a serrated knife cuts the styrofoam really well, and you can get a better edge, a cleaner edge. So I just ended up having to cut all of that down, and make it, how um, the size I needed for it to be. Now that I have shaped it the way that I, I'm satisfied with the shape that it is, I'm going to put a very generous amount of hot glue on the craft foam, and then attach it to the covered dryer vent. And I have made 3 of these pieces. I have not bored you with all 3 because, that's ridiculous. It's the same technique for all 3 pieces, but I have made one for the head, and one for the middle, and one for the base to form a snowman. So I have some craft sticks, in my stash, and they are larger and longer than the average craft stick, and I had not had a use for them, and so I decided to use those. I will tell you, I just lined them up and just glued them one on top of each other and used a lot of hot glue to make sure they were nice and secure. But what would actually work better would be a paint stir stick or the wood sticks that you can get at the Dollar Tree, something of that nature. But I like to craft with what I have on hand, and this is what I had on hand at the time. So, and it worked. But I wanted to attach my foam disc to these sticks so that actually it would have something to hang from. And so it took a little doing um, to make it, really nice and secure, but it worked and I was happy with it. And then I had some newspaper, so I crumpled the newspaper up and I had a child's hat, a little child's winter hat, the Juncture brand from the Dollar Tree. And so I used that little hat and I just used my newspaper to kind of stuff it. And um, I didn't use an adult hat because I didn't want it to be too big. And so I just stuffed it and kind of played with it and fiddled around with it to see, how it would sit on top of the head. I wanted it to sit upright. Um, Instead of, kind of coming down, I wanted it to sit upright. And that's why I used a child's hat. And, but when I got it up there, it was just a little bit too overstuffed. But then taking out an extra piece was understuffed. And so I kind of had to fiddle around and play with it a little bit to get just the right amount of stuffing in it. And so once I finally got that right, then I just glued it to the top of its head. I started with the front first, and then once I got that nice and tight, then I flipped it around to the back, and then I glued the back. I will say that for the hat and for the fleece part of the project, I did turn the glue gun up to the high temp mode. But when I was gluing the craft foam, um, I did use the low temp. The high temp mode will melt the craft foam and make it ooey and gooey, and it will not accomplish anything but making an absolute mess. So, but for the cloth parts, I did turn it up to high temp. So I got a Juncture brand scarf at the Dollar Tree. I love these scarves. They are absolutely gorgeous. And this year they are so plush and fluffy and fuzzy and so cozy looking. So I got one and I wrapped it around the neck of my snowman because yes, snowman has to have something to keep it, cozy looking and warm. And so I tied this knot around my snowman's neck, and I thought I was going to be happy with this big square knot. And then once I got it all in shape, in place, I hated it. So I took it off. And I ended up with just a loose, um, kind of a loop. And I secured it all with some hot glue and kind of tucked the tails where I wanted it to be so it looked like this scarf was just flowing nice and natural and easy, and it looked like the snowman was just out for a winter stroll. And I just made sure he was all glued in nice and right and tight, and he's all cozied in. I had a bamboo skewer and a wine cork, in my craft stash. And I decided to make a corn cob looking pipe. So I pushed the skewer into the cork and as deep as it would go without breaking the skewer, and then I put some hot glue in the hole and then pushed the skewer in very tightly, and then I cut it the length that I needed it to be with my scissors, and I have my my corncob pipe. So you can make your snowman face how you want. You can add a nose, you can add eyes, you can do, however you want. I preferred my face to be plain and just have the little pipe. But that's the beauty in crafting. You can do whatever you want. You can just kind of do however and make however. And but I left my face plain and just added the pipe. And then I had some sticks from the backyard and I pushed them into the craft foam. And now my snowman has a couple of arms. And I made sure I put some hot glue around where I had pushed the sticks in so that they, if they were jostled anyway, they wouldn't go anywhere. And I had some snowflakes. I think they came from Walmart maybe a couple of years ago. They were just some little foam snowflake ornaments. And so I cut the tails off, the little ornament strings, and the little holes where the ornaments hung from. And I just glued them on the hat so that I thought he needed just a little bit of something on the top of his hat to make him look a little bit wintry and kind of fun and give him just a little bit of pizzazz. So the last thing in the world you want to do is give away your crafting secrets. So when I was done with the front, I flipped him over and I laid some fleece over the back side. And I did a little glue and tuck. And I just glued and tucked around the craft foam. And so no matter where you hung him or how you hung him, you couldn't see any of the gaps in the dryer vent. You couldn't see any of the craft foam or the sticks, the wooden sticks, or any of the mechanisms holding the little guy together. And so I just did a little glue and tuck all the way around him so that he would be a nice finished wall hanging from the back side and the front side, and that there wouldn't be any gaps or holes or any of the crafting secrets for the world to see as you're hanging him up. So a couple of the pieces were a little challenging to get around there, but it turned out and it covered, and the scarf came down and tucked everything in around the top side, so it worked out just fine. So lastly, I needed to decide how to hang this little guy up. I knew florist wire was not going to be heavy enough, so I found some heavier gauged wire in my drawer, and I used that and pushed it into the craft foam and secured it really good with some hot glue and made sure that it was nice and tight and it wasn't going to pull out. And I think he's ready to hang. I'm using my snowman on my calendar board, and it's where I add special pop-up events and additions and birthdays and things that they don't have on their calendars in their room. They also know that I craft something every month special just for them, and it's something that I just like to keep going. I hope that you enjoyed crafting with me, and I hope that you found some inspiration and want to go out and make your own snowman. And that's the beauty in crafting, is to find an idea and something that inspires you, and to sit down and design something and create something all of your own. So hit that subscribe button and hit the bell and give me a thumbs up. And also leave me a comment, because I really would like to know what you're doing in your world and how things are going. And I hope that you have a happy new year and be safe out there. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.